3 things I would focus on when you launch a YouTube ads campaign. Number 1, tracking. You can never have too much tracking. When I say that, I mean you have to have a way where when you do get a conversion of some sort, whether it's a lower funnel KPI such as a lead, or whether it's a higher funnel KPI such as a purchase, that information is going to come back into Google. If that information is not coming back into Google in any way, shape, or form, Google is not going to have any data on which to make its own decisions. Remember, the way bidding works now is not the way it used to work. Right now, we're just pilots in these complicated machines, and while we can guide it, we have to continue to give it good information. I can expand on tracking in the sense that you also want to know the reality of what's going on. So if you're spending $100, are you making back 150? Is it profitable? So tracking is not just the technical tools that you're using, it's also really looking at the whole process and being able to see the back end and understand, hey, this came through YouTube. There is no tool that is 100% will give you the right attribution. There is nothing that will give you all of the pixels. And we're not talking about getting it perfect, but getting it to the point where it's at least feeding enough data where your campaigns are working. So in essence, if I spend this much, will I make this much? Am I profitable? Yes. That is the point where tracking is working. Don't over obsess if, man, I'm seeing 30 leads here, but in reality, I got 32. That's obsessive. Don't go that route. The reality is, if your campaigns are working, if your revenue is bigger than your spend and it's profitable, then things are working. It's time to push. The more profit you have, the more ROAS or ROI, whichever phrase you'd rather use, then the more space you have and leeway to expand and scale. Number 2, creatives. I cannot say this enough. Yes, there are certain targeting parameters that can improve a campaign by all means, and there are certain audiences that are going to convert at a higher rate than other audiences. At the end of the day, it's going to be, your campaign success is going to be based on your creative. Your creative meaning, do you have high click-through rates? Do you have a low cost? Does this resonate across different types of audience targeting? If it does, then you possibly have a winning creative. That's going to be the number 1 factor or lever that you're going to have if you really want to scale your YouTube ads campaign. Number 3, the offer. Let's just say you have your tracking in place, campaigns are getting super cheap cost per click, and things are working on that end. You have to look at, okay, but why am I not hitting my KPIs at a certain level? So the offer is very important. It doesn't matter how good my ads are. Like if your offer is no good, if you just have a blank page by now and you don't have something that connects the person with the creative to what you want them to do, then none of this is going to work. So honestly, offer should have been number 1 probably, because it is the most important thing. A bad offer, doesn't matter how good a media buyer is, it's not going to work. But you want to look at those numbers when you have things going on. So this happens especially when you have an offer that is brand new. The hardest part is really knowing, does this offer really work? So if you have an offer that you have not tested, you can go out there and get some benchmarks, and luckily that exists out there, especially in common spaces that a lot of people use YouTube ads for. Let's just say booking a call, let's just say a webinar funnel, let's just say for e-com. These are 3 of the most popular things that people use YouTube ads for. You want to look at other benchmarks. You want to talk to the people that are running the same things. Hey, what should I expect? What's a good lead opt-in rate? What's a good webinar conversion rate? What's a good book call rate? What's a decent e-com conversion rate? And based on those numbers, you could really see if your funnel that you have set up really works. If that's not working, then none of the other stuff matters. But in essence, you get your offer working. Let's just say you know you have a good offer. You want to make sure that those parameters are holding up across the whole funnel. And those are the main 3 things that I would look at. Yes, audience targeting is important. Yes, you can check out placements. But if you focus on the tracking, creative, and the offer, you're in good hands. You probably have gotten 80% of YouTube ads figured out. Now, if you want to learn more about YouTube ads totally for free, check out our channel. We have tons of tutorials. If you really feel like you need something step by step, you want to join our weekly calls, and you want something that can help train you and or your team, feel free to click on the link, book a call, and maybe we can help you out with our YouTube ads course.